Today's lesson is on rounding numbers. We sometimes are asked to round our answers to a certain place value. We will need this skill when we're working with money, and our next lesson actually focuses on money. When we are asked to round a number, first we have to identify which place value, and this should say is needed. We can use a silly strategy called what dot the heck to help us figure out where to round. So you're going to notice this diagram, and that big W in math is going to stand for our whole number. And a whole number can be anything to the left of this dot. For instance, it doesn't have to be just in the ones column. It could be a number in the hundreds or number in the tenths, but anything to the left of this dot we're going to call a whole number. And then the dot actually is a decimal. T means we're looking at the 10th place value. And H means we're looking at the 100th place value. So if you need to pause the video to write this on your paper, that's great. And by the way, this is page 17 in our packet. Continuing, next we need to decide whether to round a digit up or keep it the same. This next saying can help us. 4 or less, give it a rest. 5 or more, raise the score. The 4 or 5 refers to the number behind where we're rounding. And I'm going to refer to this number that's behind as the bossy number. It's a little bit salty, it got left out. So the number behind, if the number behind is 4 or less, it's going to tell the number in front of it or the digit in front of it to stay. If the bossy number is 5 or more, it's going to tell the digit in front of it to raise up one number. So let's practice this together. So our directions say round the following numbers to the nearest tenth. And so here's what dot the heck looks like. We're going to place W for the whole number underneath 67. That whole 67 is a whole number. Then we're going to put a dot, and then I'm going to put a T right underneath the 8. Now they ask me to round to the nearest tenth, so that's where I'm going to cut this number. Okay, so this number is either going to be rounded to 67 and 8 tenths or 67 and 9 tenths. So here's where the bossy number comes in, that number behind where we have stopped rounding, or the digit where we want to round to. 3 gets to tell the 8 what to do. So 3 is 4 or less, it's less than 4. So it's going to tell 8, hey, you have to stay where you are. So our rounded number is 67 and 8 tenths. We rounded to the nearest tenth. So let's try this again. We're going to start putting a W underneath everything to the left of the decimal. That's a whole number. 563 is a whole number. Then we're going to write our decimal or dot, and then we're going to write T. Since we're rounding to the tenth, that's where we're going to cut this number off. So this number is either going to be 563 and 0 tenths or 563 and 1 tenth. Here's our bossy number, a number that's behind where it was rounded. So it gets to tell this 0 what to do. And this bossy number, this number behind, is 5 or more. So it's going to tell 0 to raise the score one number or one digit. So we are going to write 563 and 1 tenth. Take a moment and see if you can round the last number and then start the video again. So this would be what dot the. We're going to chop this off. We're going to remind ourselves this is going to be rounded to either 1 and 7 tenths or 1 and 8 tenths. Let's look at our bossy number. It's 5. So 5 or more tells this 7 to go up. So we're going to write 1 and 8 tenths. Let's go to the next group. It says round the following numbers to the nearest whole. So that means nearest whole number. So that means we don't have any decimals in our number. So we're going to start by just putting the W. And then we're going to chop everything else off. So this is a whole number. 231 is a whole number. However, I have to look at the bossy number. The number behind where we cut this off, 7 is 5 or more. So it tells 1, the digit in front of it, to go up. So this number should be 232. And it's a whole number, no decimals involved. The next number, I see, I'm going to put W near this 4, and then I don't want the decimals, so I'm going to chop everything off. I'm going to look at my bossy number. Now, it does not matter what's behind the bossy number. It's just this one number gets to tell what the number in front of it, what to do. We don't care that this is an 8. We don't care that this is a 9. They don't count. Only the number that's behind where we cut it off. So this bossy number is 4 or less. So it's going to tell this 4 it has to stay. So our answer is 4. Please try the third one in this row on your own and then restart the video. All right, so 91 is the whole number. And we're going to look behind it, and I see 0 is the bossy number. We don't care about the 8. It's inconsequential. This 0 is 4 or less, so it tells 1 to stay. So this answer is 91. All right, let's do our final group. So we're being asked to round the following numbers to the nearest hundredth. And this is important because it's like money. In money, we have dollars, dimes, and pennies. So this is going to be useful when we get to our next unit, which is unit price. So we're going to start by writing what dot the heck. So we need to use the H for hundredths, and we're going to chop it off. And I have 11 and 75 hundredths or 11 and 76 hundredths. Well, now we have to refer to the bossy number. Bossy number is 8. It's 5 or more, so it's going to tell this digit 5 to go up. So we should write this as 11 and 76 hundredths. And if that was money, we'd just put a dollar sign in front of it. Okay? Since it didn't say it's money, we're just going to leave it as is. So now let's start this process again. So I'm going to write what dot the heck. And I'm going to chop this off here. And I'm going to look at this 0. This 0 is 4 or less. So it tells this 0 to stay. So it should be 7 and 0 hundredths. Now I do want you to know that if, this is a what if these digits all behind would have been 9s, our numbers that are higher than 5, it doesn't matter. Only the digit back behind where we're rounding, that's the bossy number, gets to tell the other number what to do. All of these numbers could be higher numbers than 5, but we still only look at this number. So the next one's a little bit tricky, so I'm going to give you a minute to think about what that bar means, and I'd like you to try the next one on your own. Okay, hopefully you recalled when we see this bar, it means that this is a repeating decimal. So I'm going to write a couple 6s just to make this a little bit easier for us to look at, okay? That continues on and on and on. But we're being asked to round to the nearest hundredth. So I'm going to go back and use the what dot the heck. So I'm going to chop or cut this off right here. And so I definitely need to at least look at, not least, but I have to look at this 6. I really don't care about the other 6s. It's just the one that's back behind. And since this is a 6, it's 5 or more, so it tells this 6 it has to go up. So this would be 0 and 67 hundredths. So what I'd like you to do now is try rounding on the back page, the next page, page 18, And then if you would, refer to the key when you're done. It will be posted in the lesson. Thanks so much for listening. Take care.